Yeah, tell me.
I missed last class, so can you please send a last class recording?
Yeah, I will send it. Okay, or you can go to the my YouTube channel. I hope all of you are subscribed to me, my
Yes,
channel.
sir. Thank you.
You are right, right? And there, if you see in my, I have created playlist. So there is a playlist for level 2. So you can just watch that.
So last class I wasn't there because I was traveling.
No, that is fine. But what I'm saying is, if you are not missed also, you can just go to my YouTube channel, go to the L2 playlist, and under that, there are all the videos are there. You can just go. I think week 5, 6, whatever you missed, you can go there. All the videos, the title is also there. So what content is there, which week and what content. So based on that, you can always access it and you can watch it. Okay. Plus the handout is there for your. All right. Great, excellent. So let us get going. Today I'm going to talk about openings, okay? And I'm only going to talk about opening principles, okay? There are too many openings. There are like 500 or 1,000 different openings in chess, and it can become like a forest, Amazon forest, okay? So no one can say that, oh, I have roamed the entire forest, right? You only go, even if you go for trekking or if you go for camping, you'll just go into some spots and come back, right?
My favorite one is my favorite opening is the Caro-Kann.
Caro-Kann, I see you playing e4, c6 most of the time. d4, d5. Yeah, it is good. So there are many openings you can play, but in the yeah, just hold on, just listen. See, it is okay to know briefly about openings and then know your tactics well. And know your... Okay, I'm going to mute all.
Maj's mistakes again.
Okay, I have muted. So what I was saying is that you are yeah, openings may don't go into variations, memorizing variations, etc., and it becomes too much. Okay, you just can't do it. I can't do it. Nobody can do it. So we have to just understand the principles of the opening. And if you know, so I have for your, I think in your level 1 class, I had just given 5 principles. Now in level 2, I have made it into 10, and 10 is still countable on your hand and easily rememberable. I think all of you can remember it very well. So that is what is these 10 principles. Okay. So let us just go through it and you can, what do you call? See, what is the first principle? Open with your E pawn or D pawn, whether you are white or whether you are black, doesn't matter. Make the moves with these pawns. Okay. Till you go to some level 4, level 5, etc. Then there are openings where you can play from the sides and all of that is there. But at this point of time, level 2, level 3, also just play open always with king pawn or queen pawn, e4, d4 from white side or e5, d5 from the black side. Okay. Then make 1 or 2 pawn moves in the opening. Actually, 2 pawn moves is okay. Okay, not too many. Okay, that is what. Don't go on making pawn moves. Okay, what is the third very, very important rule? Third is do not move the f pawn to f3 as white or f6 as black, because we have seen what happens. There is a fool's mate. There are variations of fool's mate, and your king gets exposed, right? So never move the f pawn to f3 from white or f6 from black. Ideally, your knight should come to f3. Okay, or f6 if you are playing from black side. Okay. Fourth very important principle: develop the knights before the bishops and develop the bishops before the queen. In general, okay, it doesn't mean that exactly you have to develop both knights before you move the bishop. It is not like that. In general, probably your knight, at least the first knight will come out before your first bishop comes out, and the second knight will generally come out before the second bishop comes out, and at least one bishop would have come out before you make your queen move. Okay, that much you remember. Before the queen moves, at least one bishop would have come out, and before the bishop comes out, at least one knight would have come out. This much if you follow it, then generally you will be in good stand. Okay, just follow this. Then prepare for castling. You know, your king is there, either king side or queen side. Most of the time you will castle on the king side. Sometimes you may castle on the queen side, but at least by 7th move, try to prepare so that the knight would be out. King knight would be out on f3 or f6. Bishop would have also moved out, and then your king and rook will be ready for castling, right? At least by 7th move. right? That is what you do it. Do not grab pawns at the cost of your development, which means that till at least your knight is developed and your bishop is developed, at least one knight and one bishop and two pawns. Till this is done, don't go hunting some pawns. Okay, if some pawn in the center is available for free, obviously you can kill it. Okay, but don't go to the side and don't go attacking somewhere in the side of the board trying to win some pawn till you have development, your development is complete. Okay, then 7th and 8th are very, very simple. See, there are sometimes opportunities by double attack to win a pawn. Okay, but this is after you have developed some pieces. Okay, then if you see, many times, sometimes it happens that the queen can come out, give a check, and at the same time attack some other pawn. If something like this, some tactic, and generally it will be in the center. Okay, so the pawn that you win will be in the center or close to the center. If that is the possibility, you are okay to take it. Okay, similar, but don't give that opportunity to your opponent, right? So this is what I mean. And then what is the number 9? Do not advance pawns beyond the halfway mark. What is the halfway mark? The center line between the white's camp and the black's camp, right? Unless your pawn is very well supported. So e4, d4, it is okay. Don't play e5 after that. I mean, from white side, don't push the pawn to e5 unless it is really well supported by at least one pawn and at least one piece. Okay. So otherwise the pawns can become weak if you advance it too much. Okay. So similarly from the black side, it is okay to play e5 or d5. But be very careful before you advance it further. Unless it is supported by another pawn or another piece, do not advance. Okay. And the last and the 10th simple rule is after castling, connect your rooks. Because that's what the idea. Rooks require straight open lines for their power to come, right? So this after castling, one rook will come, and the other rook also, hopefully the bishop and the knight would have moved, so that they can, rooks are ideally placed in the E and D files, so that, because that is where the files will open up. The center files will open up, some pawns will get exchanged, one open file will be there, maybe thing, etc. So the rooks are well placed on the E or D files. Okay, so these are the 10 simple rules. Okay, so please memorize these rules. I'm saying don't memorize the variations, chess variations, memorize the rules and try to apply them. Actually, after some time, these will become so natural that you don't even have to go through it. But initially, for the time being, for the next, let us say 2 weeks, etc., try to, in every game, try to play some slow games. Okay, and even when you are playing the games, just try to make sure that you are following this rule. Okay, and then you will be used to it, and then it will become a habit. Okay, so this is what is the basic principles of the opening. Okay, this is very important handout, and just this much you need to know for the opening. Just these 10 principles. If you play just this much, even up to level 3, you can play all openings. Okay. Yeah, Agastya, what is your question? You can type the question. Please learn to type the question. This is like online classes, right? I mean, it will never have this one. So type your question and I will read it and I will answer it. Okay, now what I have done is I have given 6 or 7 different openings. The first 5 moves I have given. Okay, first 5 moves of each opening. I think in King's Gambit, I have made a small mistake. Instead of restarting, it is starting from 6. But essentially, those moves are 1 to 5. Okay, so I have given for Italian opening E4, E5, NF3, NC6, BC4, BC5, C3, NF6, D4, ED4. Right? Ivan's Gambit. Similarly, it is okay. There is some no. There is a mistake in it. Is not Ivan's Gambit what I have given. It is Queen's Gambit. D4, D5, NC3, NF6, Bishop F4. This is Queen Pawn game. Okay, I will change the title and resubmit it. It is Queen Pawn game. It is not Ivan's Gambit. Then King's Gambit is there. E4, E5, F4, EF4, NF3, G5, H4, G4, NG5, NF6. Interesting way. I think you should watch some games on the net of King's Gambit, and then you'll get an idea what kind of an attacking opening it is. And Roy Lopez E4, E5, NF3, NC6, Bishop to B5, A6, Bishop to A4, NF6, Castle, Bishop to E7, right? 2 knights defense, Scotch Gambit, Scotch game I have given. So these are all good openings. Okay, these are all good openings for you to play. Okay, and just what I suggest is just go through all these 7 openings and see whether the opening principles are being applied or not. You will see that none of Maybe I have given only 5 moves, not given you 10 moves. So maybe castling and all you are not seeing sometimes. Okay. But in general, you will find that whatever is possible in the 5 moves, mostly you will find that all of these 5 principles are being met. 10 principles are being met. Okay. So that is a thing. So you can just verify yourself and then you will get idea, because when you do that, right, just go through all these 7 openings, take a chessboard, set up the position one by one, go through all of these things. And every time you make a move or black makes a move, just look at these 10 opening principles. That way, if you do it from both white and black side for the 7 openings, that itself is a very good exercise for you to automatically remember this. Okay. Yeah. So what is who Agastya is saying? Sometimes I'm attacked by queen on the opponent's second move, and when I'm on the black side, oh, I will show you how to deal with it. Very simple. It is very simple. Board editor. Let me take the board editor. Analyze the board. I think probably what you are saying is e4, e5. Agastya, you might be saying that, oh, I am getting queen h5, huh? Attack directly, right? Very simple to deal with this. If white plays this, actually, this is not a great move for white, because what did we say? Queen should come out only after bishops have come out, and bishop should come out only after knight has come out. But suppose your opponent plays this. Okay. No, I'm not going to unmute. Please type your question. Please type your question. So how to deal with it? You follow the principles of the opening. You develop a knight, which is a good idea, and it is defending the pawn, right? Now, if white attacks this, I've seen sometimes, this is the key attack on that scholar's mate kind of thing, right? Queen is also attacking and bishop is also attacking. Now, you cannot play knight f6 because that will lead to checkmate. But you can play in this position, you can play g6. Throw back the queen. And if the queen comes back here, again threatening the same thing on this one, then now you play knight f6, right? So now what has happened is that both of your knight has come out and you are better developed than, black is better developed than white here. And actually white will be slightly worse off in this. And if he makes more mistakes, then he can actually lose also, okay? So in this opening, if I see this opening, I will say black is better, not white, okay? Because white's, first of all, queen is blocking his own best square for the knight is f3. Queen itself is occupying it, which means that now queen has to move and then the knight has to come, or the knight has to go to h3 is bad. If he goes to et, it is not that great, e2, right? So it is not, and plus none of the other pieces are developed, right? So it is not a great idea for white to play like this. So keep your, Agastya, even if your opponent attacks with the queen, you follow the opening principles and just look for the moves. And mostly you will, but you have to do a little bit. You can't just play mechanically, but you have to see. Now here, what do you call? So just, yeah, I mean, you play with you develop your knights first and just make sure that you are defending properly, whatever is attacked, and that much you do it. And at this, how to defend, you use most of the moves that are as per the principles of the opening, either knights defending or central pawns defending, right? This much if you do it, then you will be quite okay. All right. I am going to go to the next one. So this is your exercise. Yeah. So that's what I'm showing. So how to deal with it, I've showed you. Okay. Now go through all these 7 openings and try to interpret each of the move with the principles. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you one more thing about something called as tempos. Okay. This is one thing that you can use to analyze your games also and openings. Tempo means, actually the meaning, Greek meaning of tempo is time. Tempo does not mean some vehicle tempo or some other thing. It just means time. Okay. And what is the meaning? See, at the beginning of the battle, in the opening, what is the objective? Objective is to develop all the pieces, gain control of the center, put your king to safety, and bring the rooks into play. These are the 4 objectives. Okay, what are the 4 objectives? again I'm saying is, one is develop your pieces, take control of the center, put the king to safety, and last one, bring the rooks into play. Rooks means both the rooks should come to E or D file mostly. Okay, so that is what are the openings of the principal. Now, how do we do this is how fast we are doing it and whether we are wasting more. So there is a very simple way to calculate. A tempo is any move that is in line with these four principles. Okay, anytime when you moving an already developed pawn or piece does not count as a tempo, but moving a pawn or a piece which is not yet developed will count as a tempo. That means you have done something useful with your move. So this is a way of finding whether how much you have used the first, let us say 10 or 12 moves, how much you have used those options, because every time you get a chance to move, are you using it well, right? So the worst case I can tell you is the first move I play knight f3, and second move I bring back the knight to g1, right? Then I have wasted two moves, nothing. After two moves, I am still at the beginning, right? That is the worst possible case. But whether are you doing all the most important things? So for that, you can use the count of tempo. So meaning is very simple. Anytime you develop a piece or a pawn which is not yet moved, that time you can count it as 1 + 1. Okay. Anytime you occupy the central key squares, what are the central key squares? E4, D4, E5, D5. Okay. Anytime you occupy it with your pawns, you can count it as +1. Okay. Anytime you indirectly control it, even if you don't put a pawn there, but you put a piece on knight f3 which is defending d4 and attacking e5, or knight on c3, right? Or knight on bishop on c4. Anytime you make a move of the pieces which control one of the key squares, that time also you can count it as +1. Okay, every time you do that. Okay. And whenever rooks come to the semi-open files or E and D files, that time you can count as +1. Okay. And this way, if you do it, okay, now what happens is, and you take the count and your opponent's count, okay, then you will be able to see who is ahead or who is behind. Okay. So this happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to demonstrate this. Okay. What did we say here? Anytime you develop a piece, occupy a key square, control the key central square, or rook are coming into. So let us see this. I'm going to invite two people to play. Who wants to? Two people you will make the moves. Okay. Okay. Agastya is one, and who else? Dipant. Okay, Dipant came first, or we'll give it to Gargi, and next time I will go to you, Dipant. Okay, so maybe Gargi. Okay, Gargi and Agastya. Okay, you are going to type your moves. Okay, or I will unmute both of you. Only you will. I will unmute you. Okay, we are going to start with, and you will have to tell the move. Okay, you will have to tell me the move. So let me go. Agastya, unmute, and Gargi. Yeah. Yeah, I have allowed you to unmute, both of you. So Agastya, suppose you are playing, you tell me the move first. Yeah, we'll do that.
King E2 to E5.
E4.
To E4. Yeah,
E4,
E4.
right? Okay. So you are moving a pawn for the first time, right? And so you get +1. Okay, fine. Now, Gargi, you tell me what is your move?
King pawn to E5.
Okay, so you also get +1. Okay, fine, good. So these are both
Defend
good
the
moves.
pawn. Defend the pawn.
No.
Defend the pawn with knight.
No, tell the move. Agastya, you know the move.
C3.
Knight to C3, yeah? Knight to C3. Okay. So you are developing a knight. Again, you get +1, and that knight is also controlling the thing in the center. So your score is +2 now after two moves. Gargi, what is your move for this?
Queen to F3.
Huh? Sorry?
Queen to F3.
Queen to f6, huh?
F3.
3, 3, 3.
No, you are playing black.
Yeah.
Queen to F6.
Sorry.
F6, right? Okay, Queen to f6. Now this is a, okay, you are developing a piece. Okay, I will still give you 1 point for this. Okay, so your score is +2. Okay, now go, Agastya, you make your move.
Knight to F3.
Knight to f3. Okay, you have developed a. So we will do this only for the first 10 moves. Okay, that is what is the idea. So 10 moves. So we'll see Knight f3. So it's a developing move. Good. So your score is +3 now. And Gargi, your move.
So my pawn to D5.
D5, huh? Here. Sure, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Pawn
I'll
to
take the
D5.
pawn with my knight. I'll take the pawn.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I will give next chance. So what we will do is, see what happens is now, though you have moved your pawn, but I'm not going to give you +1 for this Gargi because Agastya, as he said, he can simply kill this pawn and he's attacking your queen also, right? So I will, this will become your score will remain 2 and white score will become now 4 actually, not 3. No, sorry, not 4, it will become 5. Okay, it was 3 already, it will become 5 because he has won a pawn and he is attacking your queen, right? So his score will become 5. So now just looking at this score, you will get an idea. Now at the end of these 4 moves, black score is 2 and white score is 5. That means who is ahead? White is ahead, and it looks right? It has won a pawn plus he is ahead, right? You got the idea how to do this. Okay, so I will give one more thing. What I will do is we will start. So I think Agastya and thing, I will mute you, and Gargi, I will mute you, and I will give it to somebody else. Let me see who. Gargi is already muted. Fine. So who else was there? I think let me take Mishti and Om. Okay, Om. I have allowed you to unmute, and Mishti, I have allowed you to unmute. So both of you, we will start the game again. This time Mishti is playing white and Om is playing black. Okay. So let us start. Okay, Mishti, tell your move.
E3.
E3. Okay, I am going to give you probably half a point for this, okay? Because you have not occupied the center, but you have developed a pawn. So, okay, maybe I will give you 1 point. Let us see, because we'll just go by the rules. Okay, now Om, you can play your move. Your voice is very feeble, Om. Hello? Om, are you there?
E7.2.
Where? E5, huh? Okay, so I give you +1 for that. Okay, fine. Now, Mishti, your turn.
B.
B pawn, huh? Or what?
B4. C.
Pawn.
BC4.
Oh, bishop to C4. Okay, it's a good developing move, and bishop is developed and also controlling a central square. So I give you +1 for this. So total is +2. Now, Om.
G8 knight
G8 knight, huh?
to
F6. F6, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I give you 1 point for this because you have developed a knight nicely. So it is score is +2 for both. Mishti?
G4.
G4, huh? Okay. G4.
No, sir, no.
Then
Q F3.
Queen F3. Okay, I still give you 1 point. Okay, but you are not following the opening principle, but I'm giving you 1 point for this. Okay, +3. Now, Om. What?
F8 bishop.
2? Where?
No. I'll take the pawn ahead.
Huh? Come on, tell me. What is the move?
The D7 pawn.
2? Where?
Center.
Yeah, but do D6 or D5?
D5.
D5, huh? Okay. D5, all right. So I give you 1 point for this. Now,
Sir, I was trying to play on your board. I forgot that you were playing.
Yeah. So go ahead, tell me, Mishti, what is your move now?
BD5.
Bishop to D5. Okay, you are killing the pawn. Okay, fine. Now, what about?
The bishop.
You will kill the bishop. Okay.
Oh, no.
Mishti, you are -2 now. -2 now.
I didn't realize that.
So then that is what it is, right? So now black is ahead. Black is 2 points ahead now. Not only that, he has won a bishop, so he is so much ahead now. But you got the idea. So I'm not going to play further, okay? But you got the idea how it is. Or even if you had not played it, okay? Even if you had not played it, captured the bishop, what you would have played? Okay, tell me now. I will give you the thing. What would you play now?
I would check the king.
How? Oh, bishop, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Now for this move, you do not get any point. Why? Because you are moving a piece which is already developed. So I will not give you any point. Okay? So your score.
Bishop is the middle.
But you don't have any option. So that's what I think you have made some mistake in the opening, and that is why this is happening. So now, black, you play it. After this move, we'll stop.
I think the bishop in the middle.
You'll put the bishop in the middle. Yeah. Even better move was play C6.
Sir, okay. You can't tell him.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying I will go with this. But so this move, but with this move also, black is still better now. Can you see? Because now black gets 1 point for this because he's moving a bishop which was not moved earlier. So black score is 4, white score is 3. Who is slightly ahead? Black is slightly ahead. Maybe may not be winning, but he is slightly ahead. He's better. And
okay.
if he had played C3, it would have been even better. Okay, then
yeah,
again your bishop will have to move, and then you would. I know, but I'm just explaining how to do this. Okay, so you got it. How to this? Okay, so fine. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back all the way, or I'm going to think. So one final time. Okay, this is what is your exercise. Okay, let us give chance to Vihan, and Vihan will be black. Who will be white? Okay, Himika is white. Fine. Himika, I will allow you to this one. I unfortunately I cannot go around to everybody, but please do that. You can do this at. So where is Himika? Where is Himika? Himika. Yeah, I have allowed you to unmute, and I will get Vihan. Where is Vihan? Okay, Vihan is also to unmute. Okay, I have allowed. So Himika, you are white.
E2 to E4.
E4, good move, +1 for you. Vihan?
My pawn to E5.
Pawn to E5, +1 for you also. Now?
Knight to C3.
Knight to C3. Okay, I give you +1 for this, developing a piece and controlling the center. So your score is +2 now. Vihan?
So my knight to f6.
F6, huh? Or H6?
F6.
F6, okay. Fine. So, fine. So you also get +1. So score is balanced now, 2-2. Now, go ahead, Himika.
My another knight from G1 to
Where?
F3.
F3. Okay, you get +1 for this. So good move, developing move. So your score is 3. Vihan?
Pawn to d5.
Pawn to d5. Okay, you also get +1 for this. Okay, but we will see what happens after this. Now, think and play, Himika.
D2 to D3.
D2 to D3. Okay, I still give you 1 point for this. Okay, and but you will realize why it is not that great a move. We'll realize. Okay, we'll see. Your score is 3. Sorry, your score is 4 now, and Vihan's is 3. Vihan, what is your move now?
Knight to c6.
Then your score is also 4. I will tell you after that what I would have played. Okay, so let us go ahead and next move, Himika.
E4 to D5.
What to D5? E4 to D5. Pawn takes, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so this is
I also
exchange.
take it with the knight. I also take it with
You will take it with the knight. Fine. So after this, I think the scores are level. Okay, because scores are 4-4 each. Okay, after 5 moves. Why you did not get +1? Because you exchange the pawn. You did not make another developing move, Himika. And then Vihan, you also responded by killing it with a piece which is already developed. So your score is equal. Okay, 4-4, and this is an equal setup. But I will just, okay, so good moves.
Let the pawn go and then the knight go.
Yeah, but what could have happened is, just look at this. If black had played d5 to d4 here, okay,
Yeah.
black would not have got a extra tempo here, but white would have also have to waste. And where will the knight go now?
Yes, sir. So usually in these conditions, I play c6, pawn to c6 to support the other one. But I didn't, because I wanted to develop the minor pieces.
Correct. But in this case, now white would have to waste a move, probably go here or goes here somewhere, right? Wherever. And then you will be able to develop something like this. And this is very good then. Now this is black is better, right? Yeah. Black has got a clamp in the center.
Yes.
Right? So just giving you how you have to think and how you have to play. Okay. So I know there are many other people who wanted to play, but unfortunately we cannot take care of everybody right now. I think you saw the idea, right? It is not about everybody just doing in the class. I just gave some examples, but with this you can play with your brother, with your father or mother or sister or whoever, and try to follow these principles. You have the handout, try to see it. Okay, and try to see after 5 moves who is better, and try to play with somebody who is as good or maybe better than you, and then you will be able to. And just tell that this is a 10 move game. Okay, you're not playing the full game. You're just analyzing the first 5 moves or 10 moves. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So what is Stockfish 14?
Stockfish 14 is nothing but the next version of Stockfish. Every time the new version comes, right? They say give a number, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, like that.
Yes.
So Stockfish is a chess engine. Okay. And I had made a video. I think it is there in my thing. If you want, I will post it on the L2 class link about chess software. So chess engine is something that can think and create a moves. Or play moves. Okay, that is what is a chess engine. And Stockfish is the world's leading free open chess engine. And 14 is the latest release that they have released it.
Maybe Nikhil also had used Stockfish.
Who? Oh, Nikhil had used. Yeah. Nikhil Kamath, right? Yeah. Correct. Okay. So, all right. So I think there is the next class also is going to be on the same handout, but I'm going to go into the Scotch game. Okay. So we'll see it next week. And it's a very interesting game, Scotch game and Scotch Gambit. But you have the handout, please go through it so that we will, when we do the class, time you are already familiar with what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.